Alrighty, folks, you have undoubtedly heard about the Airbnb bust. You've heard me talk about all the shenanigans and hucksters who created nonsense out of nowhere, getting all the gullible folks to get into the business. Folks, there is a right way to do this thing. We're going to talk with somebody doing it the right way, but I do think we need to recognize the nonsense of the last couple of years. Then we can put that aside and get into how to do it right. We've got Vivian Yip here. How you doing, Vivian?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Absolutely. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen. Jen, you're amazing, Jen. Thank you for setting this up. She's wonderful helping getting great guests on the show. But Vivian, if my audience doesn't know who you are, give us a quick bio. Who is Vivian?
My name is Vivian Yip. I live in Austin, Texas with my husband and my two children and my two dogs. I ended up in Austin when I relocated with my job at Apple, but I've since quit my corporate job at Apple. And now I am pursuing my dreams, combining real estate and hospitality in the same space. I'm the founder of Hestia by Corporate Rentals USA. And we focus on bringing the best hosts with the best single family homes under one brand. And we take that brand into the companies and businesses that use midterm rentals,
Mm.
helping other hosts avoid the direct business to consumer experience and moving into the business to business space.
Yeah, we're gonna dig into all of that. But I think we both could acknowledge the last couple of years, call it 2 or 3 years, short-term rentals, and then by happenstance, maybe a little bit in midterm rentals, got really, really hot. Everybody thought easy money, and we're seeing some pain right now. Is that fair to say?
100%. People saw the, attractive interest rates, and it was so sexy to do short-term rentals because it was easy money. But
Hmm.
then I think they didn't realize that it can completely consume your time. And some guests are plain a-holes
Hmm.
that they take advantage of the system. Then they realize that, Airbnb has a ton of control over their business. And at the end of the day, it becomes not fun anymore when you're absolutely just living and breathing the hospitality business that you thought was going to be easy money.
Yeah, it's really funny to me. I like you, we go out and speak a lot, and one of the things that I always enjoy is figuring out what's hot with the audience. Because again, my story is my story. It doesn't change. I'm a boring buy and hold guy that's been doing it for 25 years. Um, in 2018, it was all syndicators, right?
Mm-hmm.
Syndicators, there were non-operators raising money and buying deals they never saw with stupid assumptions and bad debt, just disaster. That's imploding. And then about 2021, I remember it was a virtual event because of course we couldn't be around anybody at that time.
Yep.
But I remember the audience making fun of me for cash flowing like $300 a month on just a boring, year lease. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, you got to be doing short terms, even with, 10%, not occupied, you'd make, 3 grand and you're such a boomer." I'm like, "I'm not a boomer. Why are you calling me a boomer?" I mean, just and
God,
it was
people are
just
so mean.
yeah, no joke, right? But they just were piling on this, buy and hold guy and I'm like, "Guys, you're not a landlord. You're in the hospitality business."
People forget that time is a commodity that you can't get back. You set it
Exactly.
and forget it. What was that guy's name that did the Ronco, the chicken rotisserie? You set
Yeah,
it,
and
forget
forget
it.
it. Yeah.
Showing my age here, but people forget how much time it is, not only from like in your phone and in your business, but how much time away from your
Yeah.
family it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's even treated differently by the IRS folks. That should be a signal. I mean, short-term rentals, the hospitality, it's active income, not passive. It's treated entirely different by the IRS. If that's not a signal that it's like real work, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. It was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the other thing that really bothered me, and I knew it would bust, it just had to, was all of these folks going on Instagram, talking about $3,000 months and all of that. Then they start doing Airbnb arbitrage. Now you don't even need to own properties. You just, sublease them or, on the side or whatever. And
Hmm.
all of these people piled in. And then of course the rules changed and there's a lot of people losing in Austin and Palm Springs and other markets. So Real estate investing, Vivian, is never easy. Is that fair to say?
I would say it's never easy. People think it's a get rich quick thing, but I've been in real estate since 2004.
Mm,
I've seen the highs and lows. I've been burned, right? I bought
yeah.
a condo in Chicago in a gentrifying neighborhood because it was hot at the time,
Mm.
only to realize that I paid it full price because I bought in April of 2007.
Ooh,
And I
ouch.
instantly lost 25% of my money and the value of the property overnight. Like I know what it feels like to go bust.
Yeah.
And you're right. We're in that state right now where people are struggling to cash flow. And if they had purchased at one rate, then they refinance and they grab money out of it and then
Ugh.
reinvested it. Now they're double negative in two properties. It's just a rolling snowball and they have to figure out a way to pivot. Right. And
Yeah.
I'm not, I would say like, I'm not any smarter than anybody. I just got in the game a little bit earlier. My first short-term rental was in 2019.
Oh, nice.
And when my cancellations started coming through from Airbnb, I was like, uh,
Mm,
now I know how exposed I am, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when I
Yeah.
said, I cannot let a business like Airbnb control my business and control my revenue.
Right.
That's when I decided to try something different, right? We all say that if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to go crazy. So I ended
Mm,
up trying midterm rentals. And at that time, I don't know why I was so dumb. Like I've relocated twice in my career. I
yeah.
relocated with Tetra Pak from Toronto to Chicago. And
Hmm.
I also relocated from Chicago to Austin when I got my job at Apple. And
Hmm.
I was like, temporary housing is a total thing. Like
Yeah.
I know tons of people. Like so, it became a great strategy,
Yeah.
and I kept it secret for so long. But now I've changed my mind to an abundance mindset. I read,
Right.
the about the law of attraction. I've read a lot of books, Go Giver, all that stuff,
Hmm.
and I've changed my mindset. And honestly, it's done nothing but attract more business for me.
That is awesome. It's funny we're talking about midterm rentals because one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm creating a show called Buying Vegas. Right?
Mm,
Olivia and I, retired. I'm doing this in the Central Valley of California. We just picked up a nice pad in Henderson, Nevada, and I'm like, you know what? Let's try to do this again. And we did, the boring single families. We did condo hotels, which is a Vegas thing. We're going to go talk to a guy tomorrow actually about room by rent. But if I had, you put a gun to my head today, what we would probably do is a midterm rental because a furnished midterm rental, because again, we're not going to do Airbnb. It's not allowed, frankly, in Vegas. And, just a standard rental's it's not going to pencil.
right.
So we're trying to find, midterm rental, older property, midterm rental, close to hospitals, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think we're going to end up doing, midterm rental. So tell me, how do I do midterm rental right? That's what I want to have in this conversation.
So, number one, if you're already in a short-term rent, or no, number one, if you're thinking about buying a midterm rental, you
Mhm.
need to look at the existing Airbnb supply and see
Got
how
it.
you can differentiate yourself.
I
And
like
I'll
it.
guarantee you 70 to 80% of the supply right now in the short-term rental space is a three bedroom.
Good
Now
call.
you can find that information in Price Lab. So in a place like Phoenix, no, in a place like Austin, in a place like Dallas, and same thing with Henderson, Nevada, you're going to see because of the changing regulations, they're
Hmm.
either going to quit the business, they're going to move to long term rentals, or they're going to
Yep.
move to midterm rentals.
Got it. Yep.
So you have to figure out if you're buying what you shouldn't buy.
I like that. The anti-buy box, right? What
The
not to look for.
contrarian thinking, as Cody Sanchez says, right?
There you go. I
And
like
then
that.
number
Okay.
two, midterm rentals, please don't go and buy crappy furniture from Wayfair or Amazon. People are going to live in your home. They
Yeah.
don't want to sit on a box covered in velvet. Go and get a nice used secondhand
Yeah.
West Elm couch somewhere. And the best deal is at the end of the month when people are moving,
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
right? Just
Okay.
borrow a truck or a pickup truck, whatever, and go pick up like this. The steals are always at the end of the month.
Okay. I like that advice. I like them.
And provide a great hospitality experience.
Mm.
Really get your systems in place, understand leases and how they impact your business. what squatters' rights look like. Do you want them to have access to your mailbox?
Mm,
Things like great sleep experiences. I always recommend the Helix Lux Midnight. That's my
okay.
favorite mattress. We have them in all my properties. They're $2,500 mattresses,
Wow. Okay.
but I didn't
You
pay
know,
$2,500 for them.
okay. How I
So,
like it.
with online buying, what people
Yeah.
don't forget, there's also I can't talk, a reverse logistics portion,
Mm,
which means that when someone isn't able to take delivery of it, or maybe they slept in it one night and they didn't like it or whatever, they return it. There's a whole reverse supply chain. So they
mm.
sell off these mattresses by the truckloads to people and they sell them on Facebook Marketplace.
Interesting.
So you
Okay.
can get a king size Helix Lux Midnight for $650. And it's honestly one of the most comfortable mattresses I've ever slept on.
Okay. Do you have that in your personal house?
In my no, because I sleep on a very, very expensive mattress.
Okay.
And I couldn't do $8,000 mattresses in my properties.
No, yeah,
But
that's
in
where you
my
draw the
lake
limit.
house, yeah, in my lake house, I have it for sure.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it. I like it. How long have you really been doing midterm rentals? Sounds like a decade, or I guess 5 or 6 years. How long has it been?
Yeah, since March, like literally when the pandemic happened, March
Okay.
2020. I was tired of being scared of someone canceling my reservation, so I just snoozed
Right.
my listing
Okay.
and I used MLS, I used
Hmm.
Furnish Finder, and I was one of the early pioneers in this
Yeah.
area. So I was able to get constant rotation of people coming through on extended stays, and it's been a great model. We have over 20 properties in Austin.
Hmm.
My brand has over 200 now.
Nice.
And it's been great because people are always talking about like how sexy insurance bookings are, which they are,
Hmm.
but you can't forecast when that flood or fire is going to be. So having inventory and having selection and having a network is the most important thing you can have.
Yeah. I am curious when you look at kind of the stats across your portfolio, what is the average stay? Is it like 3 months or what are average stays in a midterm rental?
I would say 2 to 3.
Okay.
2 to 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I've had 7 month bookings and we just extended a 6 month booking. But those are more rare. Anytime that people are, if they're, it depends. So if they're remodeling, they
Hmm.
typically stay for 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
If they have water damage in their home, they're usually there for 2 to 4 months, usually 4 months.
Mm,
If they're having a fire, it's 6 to 9 months.
mm.
If they're relocating with a job, it might be 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it varies. It varies and it just depends on who the client is. But
Okay.
for you to stay booked like that, you have to really manage your calendars properly.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. I'm curious. We already talked about how to get a $2,500 mattress for less than $700. What could Vivian furnish in a house for? What are we kind of like 12 grand, 20 grand? What does it cost Vivian to do it?
So we are enabling a new service and we can furnish a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, pretty standard, like 2,000 square foot home. We
Mhm.
can do that with design, with curtains, with fixtures, pretty decor, artwork, everything for about 24,000.
Okay. Okay. And you have that, do you apply that list anywhere or can anybody get that list or what's the service?
No, it's more of a custom consult.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I like.
you give us free, in order for us to do that, you give us free reign to
Hmm.
design everything for you. You can't be like, well, I want this specific couch or whatever, because we work with a company that has
Right.
a specific set of inventory that's available, that's brand
Hmm.
new, but they might
Got
have
it.
picked it up at liquidation, but they've curated it based on what was available at the time.
Got it. Understood. Understood. Okay. Um, what are some what are some do's? Actually, let's go back to this question. One of the things you talked about earlier is do your research in your market, understand what's already there, and don't buy that. So if the market in Henderson or Vegas is about to be flooded because they're going after short term Airbnbs and everything is a 3-2, is your advice go smaller or go bigger
Go
or
bigger.
bigger? Okay, go
Yeah,
bigger.
go bigger. Um, Especially if you hit the jackpot and you get an insurance housing request. A
Hmm.
lot of times you get more money. You get, well, no, you definitely get more money with bigger.
Hmm.
And if they're looking for a 4 bedroom and you only have a 5, you can always mark that fifth bedroom as an office
Got
and
it.
it still be considered like kind quality sometimes. So
Hmm.
I think bigger is always better because the number of 3 bedroom, 2 baths out there are just so common. It's
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Go
like
bigger.
I like being different. I don't know if you can tell.
No, I couldn't pick that up. I just couldn't pick that up. So what are some other things? Because again, I think midterm rentals, it's really, it's really an overlooked space. I never even thought about doing a furnished rental, right? I've had rentals since 2002, and it never even crossed my mind to furnish a rental for insurance, for job movements.
Yeah.
Um, it's pretty wild that you broke in at the right time.
And it's nice because, people don't see it as partiers and
Right,
disruptive to rental rates. It's just a service you're providing. We're like a hotel instead of it's more than 1 bedroom, it's three
right,
bedrooms, right?
right.
It's
Yep.
providing a service for extended stays. And I think if you can do it well, it's really lucrative and it has a lot of time freedom.
Yeah, yeah. I think let's talk about the brand, right? You talked about having 20 properties, but your brand now having 200. What is the brand? What makes your brand special?
Sure. So first of all, my property management company here in Austin only is Hestia 360.
Okay,
And we do 360 because it's full service property management. So we take care of the entire thing.
I
But the
like it.
brand, Hestia itself, she's the Greek goddess of hospitality, hearth, and home. And when
Ah,
I
I did
when I
not know
thought
that.
of the name,
I did
when
not
I
know that.
thought of the name, I really wanted something to encompass what we really are as a hospitality business. And
Hmm.
you can see in the branding, it is a premium feel. I
Hmm.
wanted I wanted a way for us to differentiate and put a mind position in someone's head that if they want a single family home, they want a premium home in the extended stay space, they should look to Hestia
Got
because
it.
it's like going on Expedia.com or going on Booking.com. You know immediately if you're going on a honeymoon, you're
Mm,
probably going to look at a Ritz Carlton or you're going to look at a Four Seasons hotel.
right. Hmm.
And if you're just doing a boys trip, you might stay at the Fairfield, but maybe a family trip might be the Spring Hill Suites. I think
Right.
branding has an important place for free rent in someone's head.
Mm, okay.
And as far as I know, I'm the only one that's doing the single family home space and extended stays to the capacity that I envision it to be. Like my vision is for Hestia to be a household name.
Got it.
Oh, you need an extended stay? Go get a Hestia home.
I like it. I
That's
like it.
that's that's a dream. But we're
I
still
like it.
very new, so give us a chance.
Yeah. Where would somebody go check out Hestia? Guess Hestia.com, or where do we go?
No, so that's the confusing part for a lot of people. Hestia is the brand. We live on the platform corporaterentalsusa.com.
Okay.
There's a lot of things happening in the background, but I always envisioned that corporaterentalsusa.com would have other brands in there. And it
Mm,
could be a local brand in Las Vegas, it could be a local brand elsewhere, but
got it.
Hestia is a brand standard as opposed to
Mm,
just a localized thing. I want Hestia to
I
be
like it.
all across the nation, and we have a required set of amenities. We have easy parking, in-home laundry, access to the garage, fenced yard, pet friendly, those kind of things. Like, oh, I know Hestia has all that, so let's just book a Hestia
Just go
home.
there.
I
Yeah.
don't even have to think about it other place. Like I can't tell you how many Airbnbs I've stayed at where the washer and dryer wasn't accessible,
Yeah.
or parking was a disaster, or the furniture was like there's a ton of owner stuff in the garage. It just
Right.
doesn't feel like home. I want Hestia homes to be dedicated extended stay places where someone can feel like they're walking into their own space and not someone else's.
Very, very cool. Well, where do we want to send people to go check out Hestia? Where do we send them?
They can check out our YouTube channel. We do property tours there and tons of educational
I
stuff.
like it.
Like you
Yep.
asked about how do I know if my property is going to make a good midterm rental? I literally get asked this every day.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a video on it, and here's a link. Please self-study. That is one of the best videos we've done. We go
Nice.
through how to compare amenities. We go through whether a pool matters or not. How
Mm,
much haircut do you take from a short-term rental to a midterm rental in terms of daily rate? What kind of
I like it.
occupancy What kind of revenue? So we go through that in a 55-minute video, and
Wow.
they did it with Price Labs. Okay, so you hear it from the horse's mouth. We did it with Price Labs. It's a great video. So go on corporaterentalsusa.com. You can join my Facebook group, which
Hmm.
is Midterm Rental Wealth. I have a course for beginners and even some more intense stuff for people that are more intermediate. And corporaterentalsusa.com. If you need housing, you can submit a housing request. This is a very high touch business. So we
Hmm.
do a concierge service.
Nice. And what is the YouTube channel name? I might have missed that.
Corporate Rentals USA.
Corporate Rentals USA. Go check that out. Yeah, watch that 55-minute video. I have lots of questions that she's already told me are answered there, so I will be tuning into that one later. You also you do a fair amount of speaking. Do you have any upcoming speaking engagements you want to highlight where Vivian's going to be at?
Yeah, I public speaking is something that I used to be terrified of, and now I've transitioned that energy into something really positive for me.
Nice.
I did Toastmasters for years. So, but now I'm on this stride. So I just finished a 600 person conference. I spoke to
Ah,
600 realtors at Epic Realty's inaugural conference, and I
nice.
taught realtors about what midterm rentals are and how they can better service their clients and become a hero in their clients' eyes. And the purpose of this one was because a lot of realtors get contacted if their client has a fire or
Yep.
mold issue or water damage. Like, I need temporary housing. Where do I go? And then
Mm.
that realtor might be like, Airbnb. But you never know what you're going to get on Airbnb. So
Yeah.
I talked to them about how they can help their clients not only find temporary housing for them, but how to understand their insurance policy so that they can make sure they have enough on their
Right.
policy in case something happens. Um, the second thing is I'm teaching realtors how to work with investors,
Mm.
right? A lot of people are staying on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to go down right now. The truth is, investors are still buying. My
Mm.
friend, my friend Paul, he does lending in 50 states. He said 37% of his applications right now are
Mm.
coming in from investors buying property.
Wow.
That's a huge stat.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching realtors how to work with investors on midterm rentals, how to buy them, how to analyze them, how to underwrite them. And then you asked about future speaking engagements. I actually was invited by Subtle Asian Real Estate, which is a Facebook group that makes fun of Asian people in general, but real estate is focused. It's a really great group. And that conference is this summer on July 26th in
Nice.
Costa Mesa, California. I think they're expecting about 500 people there. So it'll be a really great event. And if you know anything about Asian people, we love food. So the food's always really good.
There you go. There you go. Costa Mesa. That's not too far from where Olivia and I are. So that might be something we check out. Vivian, this has
Yeah.
been a lot of fun. Again, a lot of people got into Airbnbs or short-term rentals because they thought it was easy. Real estate is never easy. Also, it is a hospitality business. I think, Vivian, you've really shown us that. And I think it can be done well, can be done right, and you are doing it. But it is a hospitality business. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thanks so
Any
much for
closing
having me.
thoughts? Nope, no problem.
Any
Closing
closing
thoughts?
thought? Yeah. If you know someone that needs temporary housing, have them ask for a Hestia home, and they can talk to the insurance companies as well because we work with all of them.
That is awesome. Hestia Homes, check it out. Thank you so much.